Good morning. So today I'm gonna be making some more soap. I used a coffee soap. I've been making a coffee soap with coffee oil. I don't really like the way it smells, so I'm gonna be using a coffee bean fragrance today, and it's from one of my suppliers that is excellent chain company. I always order from them. They have natural fragrances, no phthalates, no phenols, and so it's really good for clean skincare products. But today I'm going to be taking you through each step of making soap. I will take you through the lye process, which is what I'm going to do right now. And lye is this very caustic, dangerous stuff, very alkaline. So what I'm going to do is put an apron on because I'm going to cover this in the event lye splashes on me. I'll also be wearing a mask. Here is my apron that I've used for cooking, but now I don't really cook that much anymore. So now I use it for soap making. And so I try to protect my clothes as best as possible. These not safety eyeglasses, but I'll wear my safety goggles. So I'll probably put these on. And this is just out of precaution, abundance of precaution, because you don't want lye in your eyes. That would stain and be terrible and cause liquefactive necrosis, which is bad. I have a lye container I always use. It's this plastic lye container. You don't want to use glass when you're using lye, stirring up lye with water, because the chemical reaction is so hot that it can split and crack the glass. So you want to use a microwave safe plastic container. So that's what I'll be using. Put these bad boys on, and we'll also put a mask on. And so now we're ready to mix lye. The first part of this is to add the distilled water. You want to make sure that you add the lye to the water, not the water to the lye, because it can cause a volcano effect and it's just less dangerous that way. Stuck on my dangly earrings, which was a poor choice today. Let's add the water to this first. And then I also have my sodium lactate, which just creates a harder soap faster. I like it, I use it. I've been using it for the last few months, and I found that it's easier to unmold your soap, especially if you're using softer butters. It just is easier to unmold it. I've already done the calculations. For water, I'm going to use 207 grams. Perfect. Here I add in the sodium lactate, which is usually about 2% of your total oil weight. And so I'm going to be brewing coffee too as well, and so I will get that brewing over there. Hang on one second. So we're gonna put 69 grams of this into my solution here. Just little by little. The next step after we hit 69 grams of coffee is to add the lye. Okay, so this goggles down and you're looking like a stud, you know? It's just the way you look. So we're gonna get a bit closer to the lye. So this is the lye going in, and the amount of lye that I have from calc is 138. And so that's what we're going to do. We'll be able to see if you can see the plumes of smoke. So I'm measuring out 138. Looks like we're gonna make it with this one. Okay, 138. And now what I'm doing is I'm mixing this, and you're going to start seeing possible smoke coming out of it because it gets so hot. Hot, 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 hot. Cover on this. And we'll put it outside to cool. So I put this on and I bring it outside. Is the smoke kind of lingers, and so just kind of keep the windows open and the air flowing so the smoke fumes go out. But I keep this on for a minute or two. While my lye is cooling outside, I start blending in the colorants. So I'm using titanium dioxide here, which is what you see me pouring, the white titanium dioxide in one container, and then in the other container I'm using cocoa powder. The cocoa powder and the titanium dioxide, I'll pour a little bit of the oil that I already have, mix it around, and then I need to blend it with the stick blender. So now that the lye solution is outside, it's cooling down. You might want to put it in an ice water bath too. That'll help it cool down a lot faster. I put the lye away immediately, and then I start moving onto my oil phase. So I start getting the stuff out that I need for the oils, the shea butter that I use, the cocoa butter. I melt all of that down and try to get it around the same temperature before I mix it and start soaping. And so that's what I'll take you through next. Now we're on to the butters, and I'm taking shea butter first, putting that all into the container, and then I'm adding my cocoa butter, and then lastly I'll be adding my coconut oil. This container will go into the microwave for about 3 minutes. Now I'm getting the oils ready, so I'm mixing the olive oil, the avocado oil, and the castor oil. So this is the oil phase. And what we do is combine the liquid oils with the melted butters and coconut oil, and then I'll add my fragrance, my colloidal oats that I use, and also my goat milk. So now that is combined, I'm going to add the coffee fragrance. So what I'm going to do is tare the scale. That's with the melted butters and oils. And so for coffee fragrance, I usually go between, with any fragrance, 2 to 3% in cold processed soap. I'm going to do 2% here, so that ends up being 20 grams, and that's of the oil phase. So I'll put in, it smells so good. I'll put in 20 grams of this. I tried coffee oil. I don't really love the scent of coffee oil in this, and coffee oil is really expensive, turns out. And so I kind of mixed that. Now I'm just going with the fragrance. So next part is goat milk. And for these two, goat milk and colloidal oats, what I'll do is I will get out my hand stick stirrer blender. So we'll get this out, plugged in, have the fragrance in there. I have the melted butters, and the oils all combined. And now I'm going to be putting in the goat milk and the colloidal oats. And so for goat milk, I use 4 tablespoons here. I just buy regular old dried goat milk. You can reconstitute this in water. I choose not to. I just blend in the dry goat milk to the oil phase. But there's a number of ways that you can do this. We're gonna make it. That coffee fragrance smells really good. Okay, we made that. So that's 4 tablespoons. And colloidal oats, I'm gonna use 3 tablespoons. Pays to know a dairy farmer. You can get your goat milk for free. I don't know a dairy farmer, so I wish I did. Okay, so colloidal oats, I'm doing 3 tablespoons. And I just like colloidal oats. It's my thing. I try to use oat oil and colloidal oats in every product that I make because I believe in their skin soothing benefits. And I love me some colloidal oats. So I'll use my stick blender. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of stir it around and give it a couple of good pulses here. Now that the oils are all blended, I'm going to be using the lye with the coffee solution and putting that directly into the oils. So I stir it around 1, 2, 3 times, and then I start pulsing it for about 20 to 30 seconds. Once my oil and lye are mixed, then I start pouring that batter into the different colorants. So here it's going into the titanium dioxide cup, and next it will be going into the cocoa powder cup. I'll be blending both the soap batter with the cocoa powder. I use the stick blender to really mix in the titanium dioxide, as there will be some clumps sometimes, so this just really helps incorporate it all into the batter. And then I'll also use it for the cocoa powder, just to distribute the colorant evenly in the batter itself. So I have my 3 colorants all set up and squared away, and oops, I forgot the coffee grinds. So I'm just going to reach over to get those coffee grinds and distribute them evenly between the 3 cups. Now on to the last and final step, my favorite step. I start pouring in the batter in any kind of design I see fit and kind of make it up as I go along. So I'm going to be alternating the colors here. Here's the titanium dioxide, and the goal is to just distribute the colors evenly throughout the soap mold. The beauty of cold process soap making is you can completely mess this up entirely and feel like it's a flop, and no one will be able to notice because it looks like a cool design at the end of the day. Once this S-shaped design is done, I'm going to be using a hanger swirl. So here's my final product. I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. Thank you for watching.